This program and its contents are designed for information and educational purposes only. This program does not render medical advice or professional services and is not intended to be a substitute for professional care. The information provided here should not be used for the purposes of diagnosing or treating a medical or psychiatric condition. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, consult your healthcare provider.
I'm Diane Silva, and Chris Silva, my co-host. We're going to wrap up. I read an article today where they're talking about being honest about it, because you can't say, tears rolling down your face, or you're holding on like, the chairs, your life raft, and telling everybody, oh, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. You're being dishonest. You're sending a wrong message both to yourself and other people. So, I'm having a fearful moment. Find the truth in the moment. Find the truth in what's going on with you. And if somebody asks, be honest with them. Don't ask a question you don't want the answer to.
Right.
So if you don't want to help or get involved, then don't ask the question.
Well, and to that point, if you're not honest with yourself,
that's the point.
How are you going to be honest with anybody else?
And
how are you going to help yourself?
Thank you. That's exactly where I was going with this. We think too much alike sometimes.
We are married.
That doesn't give us license to think about the other person. So anyway, one of the things you asked about a toolbox, we have been for the last 45 days or so really focusing on getting over the fear of flying, because this trip that's coming up is a long trip in an air transport airliner. And we actually found a pilot that we're going to have come on who's an air transport pilot who's going to come and talk to us too. But this is after we've wrapped this up, so it's part of the aviation series. But dealing with the fear of flying, we've talked to pilots. I've gone up in the aircraft. I've flown in general aviation. So we're going to show you a clip of that. Currently I'm in the plane. We're getting ready to take off, and the pilot on my left is Joe Schwartfeger. If you look to the right, it's hard to see because of the light coming in, but you notice that the plane is actually moving, and you'll hear the different engine pitch very shortly, and we'll take off. The point behind this whole exercise is to get myself comfortable with flying. Here we go, we're getting ready to take off. Joe has just pulled back the throttle, and we will be airborne momentarily. This is my first flight in over a year and a half. Thankfully, it's with a pilot I know and I'm comfortable with. My anxiety was still up there. Luckily, the air was very smooth. There was no turbulence. This is from a different GoPro camera showing a different angle. That's one of the steps we took, and as you can see, Joe's a very competent pilot. He's very, very calm and confident. Another step we took is we went through the flight simulator. We did that before we actually flew, but again, it was learning the simulations and the sensations. And the simulator is very, very much like being in an aircraft, except for I can turn around and see the floor behind me and know I'm on solid ground.
Yes.
Versus in the air. But the sensations when I'm looking at the screen and talking to the pilot were the same as if I was in turbulence, and that's one of the things we wanted to do, is have some turbulence.
Yep.
By the way, turbulence are not dangerous, in case you missed another episode. It's just basically ground, rough road. That's basically what it is.
Basically, it's just hot air rising.
Right. Thermals, as they call it. Mm-hmm. So, do you want to say anything before we introduce this next segment with the simulator?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, and then here's us in the simulator, myself and Joe. We chose to use the simulator so I could simulate turbulence, different flying experiences since I haven't been up in the air for a couple of years. Look in the right upper corner, you can see us actually in the sun. All right, and there was other experiences we did, basically trying to do meditations. Meditations for me are difficult because I have a problem staying in the moment. You, on the other hand, seem to do better with, but you're also calmer. You really seem to be able to do the meditations, the relaxations a lot better. Any secrets you want to share?
I think everybody does meditations or what has different ways of calming themselves. And it's just a matter of finding out what feels right for you, just as much as, talking to people, talking to friends, you figure out where you can go, what's your trust level.
Good point, yeah.
So, with either counselors, those finding the right counselor is very important. Friends, counselors, whatever. There's so many different things that it's just a matter of trying different things and figuring out what actually works for you. For me, I am able to calm down and meditate fairly quickly. Because as we have learned, one of the things about meditation is breathing and control of your breathing. And when you do that, you will find yourself, and there's times when I have tried to meditate, I find my breathing so rapid and shallow that it takes a little while to get to slow it down, get to, deeper breaths, and to be able to meditate. So that's just one of those things that I do.
You're also more able to be in the present. At least that's my experience from observing you. I'm a time traveler. I'm always what if, and I keep talking about this, but what if and I remember when. But that's part of the anxiety. It's the hardwired to defend and to not relive these experiences and to protect.
Right.
So we have that. A couple other experiences. One of the other bigger tools I've used is, we talked about maybe taking a trip somewhere. Well, due to medical reasons, I wasn't able to take a couple of the trips I wanted to take, and they are inconvenient. Okay, I got to book a
Not medical
flight.
reasons on your part, on
No,
mine.
yes, there are medical reasons. I will clarify. Chris had some medical emergencies we needed to take care of. It's up to you if you want to share what happened. But
No, we don't need to go into that.
Okay. So anyway, it kind of put a damper on the trips, which was okay, because part of the problem with taking, I'm going to take a flight to Chicago or a short trip to Denver or someplace that's really quick, is it's inconvenient. You have to book ahead. You have to deal with the travel time. It takes a lot out of it. Recently, I did a field trip with one of my grandkids, and realized getting on one of these attractions at the local zoo had caused just as much anxiety or the same sensations as a trip. And I'm going, oh, wow, and I can get here real quick. So we're going to show you the Skyfari at the Omaha Zoo, which is basically a chairlift. It's a 10-minute ride one way. And some people look at it and go, no, there's nothing to it. Other people like me going, not a snowball's chance. But she talked me into going on it, and I'm freaking out the whole way. So I'm like, oh, we're going to go ahead. And so I have been making a point of going to the zoo and riding the Skyfari and getting it. I want to get to the point where it's mundane. I don't have a lot of time left, so chances are it's not going to happen this week. But it's still a way to face that fear. Let that anxiety know. Yeah, okay, you may have some tricks up your sleeve, but I'm doing this anyway. And one of the things I have done is walk directly into the zoo, got on the Skyfari, did not hesitate, and just did it. So I'm going to show you the clip. Normally this Skyfari would be beautifully engulfed in greenery, but right now it's early spring. The zoo is under construction. So I took the opportunity to use it to help me overcome my anxiety, or at least work through some of it. The ride is 10 minutes long, one way, and the maximum height is 187 feet. Plenty of opportunity to deal with anxiety. Just to give you an idea, I know we were on here twice. I did it. I did one complete round trip. As you may notice, on one of the clips is silent, and it speeds you through it, which is kind of good. It gives you a really good idea of what was going on, what you're flying over. But there's also a segment where I took myself and just sat there and watched this, and I felt my anxiety climbing. The more I hesitated, the more I thought through this. So it's basically getting out of my own head. You know, it's make a determination you're going to do something, do it, don't let yourself talk yourself out of it. Because that anxiety is going to sneak in going, you really don't want to do this? And go, yeah, I do. Well, maybe I don't. You're right. You know, and all it has to do is give you that suggestion and it's over.
Yeah, because you're more apt to look to find excuses not to do it. And that's where the anxiety kind of pushes you that way.
Right.
That if there's an opportunity, you jump.